everyone. This is not Michael Schaumann. Also, you see Michael's picture on the presentation chart in here today. This session will be hosted by me, by Markus, as Michael is not available for us. And we are going to run you through a couple of interesting points with Andrew and with Rasheed and with Thomas Fitzer from EXP360. So we're starting off with the role of context and the customer experience with Andrew. Some insight into a specific customer journey scenario, then handing over to Rasheed, who is going to give us some insight on how we can demo Oceana, then handing the session over to the CEO of EXP360, Thomas Fitzer, giving us some insight into what especially his company is doing in the context of Oceana with virtual reality, then giving you access to a nice virtual reality video featuring EXP360. The video is going to be available or is available already on YouTube, and we're going to share links with you as well as some QR codes. So if you want to scan them directly into your smartphone, you will see the QR codes throughout the session. And after that, then after the hour, we find the session closing done by Andrew today. And so, Andrew, I'm handing over to you, kicking this off from a content perspective.
Thank you, Markus, and thank you all of you who've come to join us on this webinar today. We appreciate you taking a bit of time out of your busy work days, and we'll try to keep this hopefully quickly paced, but hopefully some useful information. I wanted to take a moment and show 4 examples of what customers are doing in the area of context. And it's a phrase we started floating a few weeks ago that we're using more and more. We're calling something ambient context. And that might not mean anything to most of you when you first hear that, but I'm going to show you a couple of examples of what ambient context means. And I think throughout the other speakers today, you'll hear references to the role of context and how that's going to, as it says, speed up processing sometimes, make things just simpler, and for, of course, for our customers, the ability to perhaps reduce cost. So the first example that I've got coming up is actually a story that happened to me. This was about a year ago in May. I was flying from Frankfurt to Berlin on a low-cost airline, and as unusual as it might seem, I forgot to check in advance online. So I arrived at the airport and realized the long queue for check-in was not something I really wanted to stand in line in here. So I opened up the mobile application, started my check-in process there, and at some point an error message popped up on the device there. An information window was in there with information about a 1-800 number or an 0800 number that I could call the service center. And the rest of this, you can probably figure out what would happen. Of course, I didn't do this part. I didn't call into the IVR and talk to the friendly person, things like that. I thought there's got to be a better way here. What should be happening when something like this happens? Why should we make somebody who's already in your application? When I explain to businesses, if somebody's in your app, they're in your store. Right, they're in your premise, even though it's just virtually here, and they should be treated as such. So an obvious solution should have been here, an in-app call, right? It should have been an in-app phone call with data transfer. So the context here, the ambient context, is things that the application already knows about me. That should be seamlessly transferred to the contact center here so that the friendly agent in the service center knows exactly who I am, where I am within the application, what's not working, and can go straight through to fix my situation here. This is what I like to say is really low-hanging fruit. And I'd like to just say to any of you who are working with clients who have mobile apps, specifically mobile apps, it could also be on web pages here, but if a company that you're working with has mobile applications, you should talk to them about enabling communications with those apps, whether this is a phone call that's able to be done. Today, you'll find phone call numbers within the applications, but usually they leave the app and use the phone application there to make the phone call here, losing all of that ambient context. The next example is something I think many of us will certainly probably be familiar with or can recognize what's going on. Here's a person online, again, in a store there shopping along the way, has a few items that they've put into their shopping basket, but at some point decide not to check out. This, of course, for the company is not ideal, and they want to try to find that person because there was some interest being showed there. Storing that shopping cart is obviously an option here. In this scenario here, the same customer contacts the same business here at a later time, and that shopping cart can be presented to the sales agent. Now, a clever sales agent who's been trained well can identify through questioning, are you calling perhaps about the items that you had in the shopping basket previously? And can send an SMS with a link or an email here with a link into it so that they can share and co-browse the shopping basket together. Again, taking the context out of the online shopping situation and moving it into a new communication platform. So example number 2 of how one can take advantage of context which is there and making it more available and more useful. My third example is from a luxury goods company in North America here, and they knew that most or a very large majority of their customers were contacting them via mobile phones. And what their interest here was, and this is a term that's been popping up more and more over the last 15 to 18 months or so, is call avoidance. If you're working with customer care centers, any of your companies that you're talking to with call centers here, if you mention the phrase call avoidance to them, you'll probably see ears go up because many companies are trying to find ways to stop inbound calls coming into the contact centers, pushing the customers to self-service, online, web chat, or other types of media here. So here the important context was to detect whether it's a mobile call that's coming in. In North America, the mobile phone numbers are not identified easily just through the prefixes of the phone numbers here, so they needed to be able to detect that and then offer a direct redirection to the mobile web experience because they felt their mobile web was equally as capable, had all the richness of the information, and is also communication enabled there. Over 90% of their customers took up the redirection to the mobile web here, reducing the number of inbound calls, and they report that the CSAT, the customer satisfaction rates, had increased along the way. For those who decided to go into the service center, that information that it was a mobile call, it was also sent to the agent so that they could perhaps, tell the person, perhaps next time when you call us, use the mobile web here. But to go back to my example of the mobile check-in here, while that's really low-hanging fruit, and I really do think you should be talking to your customers who have mobile applications to talk about enabling that, putting in web chat perhaps into a mobile application here. For this airline, in this example, this is not the right solution. What should be doing here, I got the control still, Markus. There we go. What should be happening here, of course, along the way is, first off, I should never see an error message here. As a user, I don't think I did anything wrong. The airline here should be looking at all the ambient context that's available out there. What do they know about me? What history do they know about me? Instead of just giving me the regular phone number to call in here. One piece of information, particularly here in this list here, is very, very important for this example here, is my location. I was in the airport. Had the application and the company known my location here, and in my case, my device is open here, they would have just redirected me to a service counter, which was just a few meters away, which is what I ended up doing anyway. Why is this a win-win now? First off, I get my problem solved very quickly. For the airline, I'm not busying a contact center agent in another city or another location here. I'm not creating more expenses for the company. And they're already paying somebody there to stand and service the service counter along the way. This solution for this use case here would have been the right one. My last example is from a company called Catalina Labs. Catalina Labs is in California, and they have an application called Wixie. Wixie is an application you can find in the app stores, Google and Android app stores out there, and the application is, they call it, it fixes your Wi-Fi. By fixing your Wi-Fi, it analyzes the devices, the routers, the access points, and gives you tips and ideas of how you might be able to either upgrade the firmware or things like that. So particularly when you think you're having a problem with your Wi-Fi access. They also do business with certain service providers, the ISPs in North America. And what the solution here was, and Wixie is not somebody that knew Avaya at all. They had no interest. They're not a communications company at all here. They just want to fix internet-driven devices here. But they're working with these ISPs, and they're coming into now a customer care scenario here. And all they needed to do is take the information that was collected during a line check. So if it was deemed that the error is outside of the Wi-Fi network and is probably on the line back up to the ISP, that information, that rich technical information of the line check going on there, passing that seamlessly to the service provider when the customer says, yes, I need some assistance here on my line, and that company can decide how do they want to contact back to the customer. And avoiding the inbound phone calls as being the first way that a customer contacts to a customer here. So taking the context that's all available here and seamlessly tying it all together. It's an example that it only took them 3 days to build their integration between Wixie and the Avaya Oceana platform. So what is it? On the picture on the screen here, you see all the different pieces of information, all the different services and platforms that come and play a role here. Need a communication platform. Needs a platform that you can take advantage of, all the integration options that are out there. It has to be built around the user. The user has to be in the middle of this. So why Breeze? Again, it's a communications platform. It gives you the expandability, the potential to add pieces to it. I'd like to say, we're talking about Oceana and customer service here today, but for me, underneath Oceana is Breeze. So all the power of Breeze that we talk about here is something that we really need to keep in mind when we're talking about a contact center solution. Enabling those mobile applications, putting communications into those mobile apps is something you certainly should be talking to your customers about. The context, using of context, that some of the context we might not be thinking of. I think we'll hear a few examples coming up here just a little bit on this call. And of course, integration of all this into the business processes is where it's going to be a win-win for us and for our customers here on the Avaya Breeze and the Oceana platform. At that point, I'll hand this back over to Markus.
Thank you very much, Andrew. And let us run through a customer journey scenario, which, if you think this through, can turn out to be a horror trip for both sides. The customer calling in, as well as the customer service organization. So let's have a look into what happened to our cable provider in that case. So it's primetime Sunday evening. We have a brand new cable network provider appearing on scene. They made a huge announcement on press, on media, in order to get attention for new customers. And this is probably one of the biggest events in the young history of the company. It's prime time on that Sunday evening event. They got a great sport event transmitted 3 minutes before 8 o'clock. And the new customers are there. Everyone is excited. You get the latest ads. And they promise entertainment to be reinvented with TV for all at that place. So we are waiting for the referee to kick off the football game. Is the game already on? Probably. And you see many people are excited. Some are more excited. Some are less excited in here. And the game should kick off. But what is now happening is really, really frustrating. This guy in front of his TV screen doesn't see anything. So the screen is turning black. And this, of course, is annoying. But this is not the only screen that's turning black. It's even more screens in a specific access area that are turning black, one after the other. So it's turning out to be a major outage of the infrastructure, which is going across other parts of the city as well. So you can imagine this is a disastrous scenario for a cable network provider where the new core customer set that he wants to get onto the services are going to see nothing else but a no signal screen. And this is what you absolutely, cannot predict. It's just happening. And as this is happening, let's have a look into customer experience here. How does this turn out to look like from a customer experience perspective? So this is it. It's 3 minutes before the top of the hour, 8 o'clock on a Sunday evening. We have customer care being set up in the services center, and everything is looking fine from a customer service perspective. So there's low traffic coming in, low expected wait time. Everyone is in a good mood. Net promoter score is high. And then this outage is happening. So during prime time, we have this outage just 3 minutes before 8 o'clock. And that's something, it's happening, and you can't do anything else but reacting to this. So first, customers are trying to fix this because they think it might be my TV set, it might be my set-top box or whatever, my internet connection. But sooner or later, they're going to recognize technology on their side in their houses is fine. So they're starting to reporting this on customer services, on voice and on social media channels as well. So customer satisfaction is really dropping in here. Traffic is increasing, customer services center, the expected wait time with that is increasing as well. And immediately, if we can calculate the NPS in kind of a real-time approach, we see, well, people are not really as happy as they were a couple of minutes ago. So the outage is confirmed. The technology team is trying to fix this outage, but on the other hand, we see the traffic is going to still climb in the contact center, and people are really annoyed because, well, this is the game and it's already on since 10 minutes, and they might have heard that there has been a goal already scored. So this absolutely is not the experience that you want to have. So the technology team, of course, is working on that, and 20-something minutes after the outage has occurred, it's fixed. But, well, yes, traffic is getting better, expected wait time is getting better, but still customers are not satisfied because they are not aware of what has been happening. They are left in the void here. So the outcome is, well, you have a very unsatisfied customer base out of that event. Now, how did we do? You send out the requests on how did we do as a company, and what you're going to see in that is contact center got flooded, social media peaks with negative comments are all around, and, well, you couldn't do but just being reactive in handling your customers. This is not what you want to have. And it's becoming visible because, well, everything basically is on the web. And if you look at services like Down Detector in the UK, which is available in other European countries in other languages as well, things become very, very transparent. So you see the outage peak here just a few minutes after 8 o'clock, and you could even see this on a map where the heat map of the outages is confirmed. And by the way, hey, we can change the customer experience quite easily. You see this on the right-hand bottom of that slide, fed up with outages, switch now. It has never been easier in these days in order to switch from one service to another, and customer loyalty isn't what it was 10 years ago. So, hey, we have to do something about this to fix this kind of experience. And how would this scenario maybe look like if we are going to change that with Oceana and with Breeze in here? So let's play the story again, and let's compare it to the previous one. It is, again, 3 minutes before 8 o'clock. The setup is all done, customer services is up and running, so we don't have that much incoming traffic because, well, the outage has not yet happened. And then it's happening again, 3 minutes before 8 o'clock. But immediately, triggered by the infrastructure, we have an interaction with Breeze. So Breeze is connected with some workflows to the infrastructure environment, and the outage itself is an event that is triggering these Breeze workflows to start communicating to the intervention team that is set up in order to quickly have access to the network components that are no longer working and start working with that maybe faster and maybe the right people immediately than just a single email coming in from an SNMP trap. So this is happening in the background, but this doesn't prohibit for reports arriving on voice and on social, just like it was before in the previous scenario without Breeze and without Oceana. And yes, we are going to see a slight decline in customer satisfaction because traffic is increasing, customer service center, and expected wait time is going a little bit up, and the NPS is going down. But now we are in the situation where we can act with it. Before, there was no interaction at all. And now the problem is proactively detected. Call avoidance is enabled, so when people start calling in, we have an automatic message saying, if you're calling in from that specific area, there is an outage going on, and we apologize for that. We are working on this. You don't need to call in anymore to talk to the agent. So that's the first element of it. Looking into what is happening on social media, you can start reacting on that one. So you see the tweets coming in, you see social contacts coming in, and people are moaning, and people are requesting, hey, where's the service gone? And, it's getting worse. Even in the first 15 minutes of this game, 2 goals have been scored. Well, you can start reacting on that one on social. You can start reaching out to those people. You can respond to this. You can explain what is happening. You can give them some insight on the expected time to deliver the service back again. And even you could embed some links into the recording of the to-goes that have been scored. So at least with a little time delay, people can start looking at the most relevant elements of these 15 minutes that have been passed. So what are we going to see as a result? The expected wait time in the customer service center is dropping again because people are making use of the call avoidance techniques that we have deployed in here with Experience Portal and with social media monitoring and activity, maybe with involving a chatbot in here. So people keep being informed. The outage is confirmed, but the customers are not getting as annoyed because they know what is happening, because we keep them up to date. So the customer experience is much better than it was before. We have decreased traffic in the contact center. The expected wait time is dropping to normal levels again. And even though we can't protect the experience from suffering from that outage from the customer's perspective, we keep customers informed and engaged, probably. So NPS is going to rise again, quite interestingly. So with our new approach now, with having Breeze being part of that story, we could even fix the problem faster because we were engaging the right people, which in return gives us 6 minutes less of fixing time. And in the end, we will have happy customers because, well, we share what has been happening with them. We give them some insight if there was a way of informing them about the content of the game that they wanted to watch before the pictures coming back. This is a much differentiated customer experience. And confirming that if we look into this, how did we do this with the Avaya Aura and Avaya Breeze and Avaya Oceana environment? We're using the elements that we have, and Breeze and Oceana are probably just the glue to bring things together. Connecting voice insights and chat contacts and social media contacts, creating new workflows in here which lead to a differentiated experience if you reach out to customer services, and probably the chatbot going in quite quickly and being fed with information about what people really are interested in during this time of the outage. So without Oceana, we had this very negative experience. Now with Oceana, we have contact avoidance with additional information. We have positive response immediately showing on social media. So we are proactive right now, and this has nothing more to do with the bad customer experience they had in the previous example without Breeze and without Oceana. So yes, I think this is showing you how context, how ambient context that Andrew was picking up earlier can be used in order to drive a different customer experience and to bring us onto a different customer journey. And with that, I would like to hand over to Rasheed. Rasheed, if you just want to grab the screen and take us into Oceana demo capabilities for a minute.
So I'll talk about out there, and then I'll walk you through some demonstrations and how it I'll walk you through some demonstrations and how it works. So first, I'm going to go into Easy Demo, and Easy Demo is a great way to get stuck into the Oceana environment, to actually get demoing in front of customers, in front of partners, in front of colleagues. And Easy Demo is a lightweight application, a desktop app you download off sales.avaya. And it's, again, just a desktop application. You can just, bear with me. You can install onto your desktop. It's about 300-400 megabytes. It doesn't require anything apart from Adobe Air. And to install Adobe Air, you just go on Adobe site, and it's fairly straightforward to install. Once installed, this Easy Demo has different modes. So the first mode is automated. And this automated mode walks you through the ins and outs of Oceana, how it works, how the environment looks like, and it plays an automated video, which in a sense teaches someone who's new to Oceana or someone who knows a bit how the environment works, how the agent engagement happens, how the customer engagement happens. And it's a great way to get familiar with this environment. It's also a great thing to play in front of your customers, in front of customer meetings. to break down what Oceana is and how this engagement starts and stops. You have the interactive mode, and this interactive mode is a bit more hands-on. Instead of showing you and telling you, it guides you, and it still requires your input. So it guides you through different engagements, how to use the environment, and it gives you a much better immersive feel, almost as if you're as if you're the agent. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through the interactive mode, and we're going to touch on one or two different engagements. So first, we're going to log into the workspace, and we're going to go into ready state. And what you're seeing here is the agent on the browser, and it doesn't matter whether it's Internet Explorer, Chrome, Safari, Windows, or Mac, it's supported. And what we're going to do is we're going to log in as the agent P. Arnold. And the thing about interactive mode is that you can actually insert values. It gives you the ability to actually, experience what the agent experiences. And now we've logged in as P. Arnold. You can see our name there. You can see the account, and you can see our extension. We're going to go into the workspace. And first of all, just to highlight some key areas. So this top bar here, this is the agent toolbar. And this is where you have, this is where you can quickly make voice calls, where you can view interaction logs, you can view your address book, you can dial numbers, you can dial in a supervisor. This agent toolbar is also where you can actually go from a non-ready state to a ready state. So we're going to play the role of Phil Arnold, and we're going to go into a ready state. And what you should see is this green bar here, which means we're ready and we're active. And it also says ready to the bottom right. So it shows that this agent is ready and they're ready to take any kind of calls, messages, or interactions. So now we're going to go into just handling an incoming call. So when it comes to incoming calls, so what will happen is the call will be routed to this agent through attribute-based routing. The attributes that the customer required is met by this agent, Phil Arnold. And Phil has now received a phone call from Brenda Grace. And in this area, this is the interaction area. And this is where our interaction cards come for all kinds of different interactions, whether it's a call, an SMS, an email. So we received the call, and we're going to answer that call. Once we do, we should have now telephony controls available to us. So for when the call's answered, we can now, if you want to hold the call, so you can put the customer on hold, you can on hold. Phil is engaging with the customer, and maybe for some reason he needs to get information from another team or department, information that he hasn't got on hand. So Phil has the ability to consult. So he can engage another team, and Phil wants to engage Victoria White. And when he engages this other team member, it puts the customer on hold, and we've engaged Victoria. We can now discuss with Victoria, what's going on with the customer. We need their details. We need to help this customer because they're a very important customer. And not only that, but we can put Victoria on hold. We can transfer calls. And now Victoria has given us all the information we need. We can just end this call. And it should put the customer off hold, but it will, sorry. So in terms of the widgets, so if you look below, see the customer details. So when we receive that phone call, we know who's calling, but we have their date of birth, we have their address, we know almost why they're calling. We can see the interaction details. We can see the customer history because they might have called us twice today, or maybe yesterday, or they might have started a website yesterday, the day before. And there's one key area, so this customer journey area. So this is where you get into the world of OmniChannel. So whether a customer has engaged you today, yesterday, day before by a phone call, an SMS, an email, it doesn't matter. We can see every engagement. We can see every step the customer has gone through. If they started on the web, there's a chat, if they send us an SMS, if they send us an email, we know what this customer has come to us about historically. We know what their journey is, and because of that, we are better suited and better able to help them. So this is just showing the history of the customer that they called us before, and this is more information around that customer journey start and end date. So now we've handled this call, we've provided a wonderful customer service to the customer, we can end this engagement. So that was just a quick walkthrough of what it would be like for an agent to engage on a phone call. So now we're going to go on to handling web chats. And this one's a little bit different. So again, this chat is routed to this agent because this agent is the right agent for the job. And he's received this chat interaction. He's now able to accept the chat. And once he does, he gets a breakdown of what's been said in the chat history. So you can see the messages that have gone back and forth between himself and the customer. You get a view of how many people are involved in this chat. You get information around when the message was last sent or received. And in this widget over here, you get content. So the agent has the ability to push templates or suggested phrases to the customer, whether it's hello customer, welcome to Avaya, welcome to Oceana, terms and conditions apply, or thank you for letting us know. This agent has the ability to push these templates to the customer. On top of that, the agent also has the ability to push URLs. So whether it's maybe the customer is inquiring about a link, maybe they want to get a loyalty card and they don't know where the loyalty card page is. The agent has the ability to push preset URLs to different pages, to different websites, and you can push that content to the customer. Just one click, and you'll see it appear over here. And now, for some reason, we've engaged with the customer. They're inquiring about an application form, and the customer's stuck in creating in filling out the application form. What the agent can do, or what both the customer and the agent can do, is they can prompt a co-browse session. So on the agent side, I'll go to co-browse. I can prompt a co-browse session to the customer, which means I can ask the customer permission for me to browse their screen. And once I browse their screen, I can see what the customer is seeing as displayed here. I'll get the session number. The customer, at any point, can revoke my co-browse privileges. And when me as the agent, when I'm viewing the customer screen, so things feels like first name and last name I can see and edit because there's not a lot of security around that, but fields like passwords and account numbers and card numbers, as an agent, I can't see. So let's say the customer was filling out their password. I can see what they're doing live, and they enter their password in the password field, and they enter 4 characters. As an agent, I can't see that. It's grayed out, and all I see is hashes. The customer may enter 4 different characters, but on my screen, I might get a random generation of 10 or 12 stars. So I don't even know how long the password even is, in case I want to try and guess it for fortunate purposes. So co-browse, it really is fairly compliant, and it allows that ability for the customer and the agent to interact and to keep the customer's details safe. And what we can also do is go onto the customer journey. And again, as I mentioned on the voice call, is we can see the history the customer's gone through. Whether they've called us or messaged us or sent us an email, you can see the engagement. You can see that they messaged us before. You can get a breakdown of what happened, of the agent they dealt with, of what was resolved or what wasn't resolved. And it's just a great way to see historically what's happened in a journey. Instead of having to ask the customer, please tell me your story. I don't have to, because I have all that information on hand. So once the engagement between the customer and the agent is done, all the agent does is end the engagement, and there you go. This easy demo is lightweight, it's easy to use, and it's just a great way to jump in the Oceana environment without having Oceana. It doesn't require any VPN, it doesn't require any internet. It's an offline canned demo with a bit of interaction. So there are other engagements I can show you, but I'll hope you've at least got a taste of the environment now. So in terms of handling email follows the same sort of procedure where the interaction card comes in, and that agent has the ability to reply to the customer in either plain text or in HTML format. And this easy demo is available to Avayans, to partners, to everyone. And if you're thinking, okay, where can I get my hands on this? Or simply jump on our sales portal. So on sales.avaya.com, if you type in easy demo or Oceana easy demo, you'll find not only the easy demo for Windows, but you'll find the easy demo for Mac. Doesn't matter what kind of computer you have, we have an easy demo for you. So it's just one great way of demonstrating Oceana's capabilities. The next way is Demo Avaya. So Demo Avaya is a platform available to Avayans and to partners, and it's where you can demonstrate all our Avaya solutions. Whether it's Breeze, Oceana, IP office, it doesn't matter. We have all kinds of different demonstrations available to everyone. All you have to do is schedule time and learn how the environment works. So there is a wonderful Oceana demonstration available in Avaya. And what happens is you get a description of the platform, of the demonstration, of what it covers. You also get a list of components. So if you demonstrate this in front of your partners or customers and they're like, wow, this is amazing, I want to have this, what was involved in this, what products did I just see? You get a list of all the Avaya products involved in this demonstration. You also get access to different numbers, resources, and links. You even get access to the web, to the online easy demo. And in the downloads area, you get access to APIs, to applications, and you also get access to the demo guide. And the demo guide is a great way to get stuck into demoing this product. So every demonstration has a demo guide which guides you from start to stop. This is the scenario. This is the use case. Step 1, do this. Step 2, do that. And it walks you through how to deliver a seamless and a very powerful demonstration. And within this Oceana demonstration, we've actually integrated, through the help of the EXP guys, the EXP360 application, which gives the agent the ability to communicate with the customer on the Oceana desktop. The customer has an application on their phone that incorporates virtual reality, and the agent is able to push content to that customer. So there's a lot of things available out there. If you need any help or any links, please reach out to myself or Marcus, and I'm going to hand over to the EXP guys and to Marcus. Thank you very much.
So, Thomas, please show us what EXP360 are doing and how you are embracing virtual reality in conjunction with Oceana.
Yeah, hello everybody. My name is Thomas. I'm the CEO of EXP360. And I will basically walk you through what we do with Oceana, or in general what we do in the reality world. I've basically broken down the presentation in 3 sections: a little bit about the company, then general information about VR and AR, as we see quite often in presentations that people are not aware of you can do already today with VR. Then different product lines that we have that all integrate and at the end lead up to the call center integration. And the final part, a small video, which Markus will show about how the actual integration into Oceana works from both the customer side as well as the side. Let's get started. A short background about EXP360, a company founded in Berlin in 2015. We are focusing on basically making VR commercially used. If you go through trade shows today, you will see that there are lots of companies are actually demonstrating VR solutions, but all of them are more an eye catcher and not really a commercially useful application that I can integrate into my sales environment. What we have done is basically we are utilizing widely available hardware, meaning mobile phones. The back-end platform is running in Amazon Web Service. And we have tried to basically build all the tools that make it fairly straightforward to integrate that into an existing customer sales environment. Another item that's fairly important is to keep technology away from the consumer, since we are, if not used the right way in a sales environment, can get pretty complicated. Little background about the people behind the company, myself, then Jonas Petersen, who is the CTO, who comes with many, many years of multimedia experience, and who is his core focus is basically making VR available throughout the sales environment. Moving on, we have basically 4 product lines. The The basic one is a VR solution that you can use in a face-to-face environment, where you have basically two VR glasses and a tablet, and where you hand the customer or the consumer who's interested in a certain product the VR glasses, and you control them from a tab. So that the customer doesn't have to deal with the technology and trying to set that up, load the RAM, and you do all of that from the tablet. The second part, obviously very important, that how to integrate virtual reality into an existing sales environment, how to integrate it into your website, how to integrate it into your print media, whether it's brochures, flyers, billboards. And there's a web listed here called preview.crystalcruises.com. That's a live website of one of our customers, an American cruise line, where you can actually take a look and see how that is done in the real world. VR glasses are as simple as cardboards, which is basically branded cardboards that have two lenses inside, can be used as gifts to customers, and where you simply insert a smartphone in front and you already have a mini VR solution. Another important element is the content production. Content production in the VR world has become very straightforward. There is mainstream cameras out there today that can be used to do that. Samsung has at least two different cameras on the market. Nike has one, and I will show in a moment how we have integrated that into our entire VR solution. And the final part, obviously, is if you have a contact center, how to integrate the VR environment that was initially triggered from the website or from a printed brochure, how to connect the consumer that's now using the VR content directly into the contact center, and that the contact center agent can actually take control of the VR session that the customer is running. We use all the elements there that have been mentioned previously. Attribute-based routing. We also transfer data that was captured on the mobile device that the customer is running into the contact center, so that the agent is really aware of what is happening on the other side of the data line or phone line. What are our markets? Travel and tourism obviously is an important one for us. Web operators, cruise lines, national tourist destinations, resorts, hotels, convention centers. Another item, and there you can already see some of the ground on where we are, becomes really useful. Real estate agencies. I can drive to 20 houses and look at them, or I can simply look at them through VR goggles, which might eliminate one of them and save me quite a bit of time and when trying to select the property. Architects and designers. Private schools, universities, who at the end of the day are just trying to sell their property as well. Car makers and associated distribution channels. End of the last session, somebody asked in the chat if they are already interested, if we already have something like that, and I basically sent them a link right away. Sponsorship, charity, non-profit organizations that are basically trying to show they do in order to get additional funding, and obviously also healthcare hospitals who again try to market the service that they provide. Goal, very ambitious one, as you can see. We basically want to make the left side as popular as the right side already is. VR is definitely a mainstream multimedia device ready today, more than one would think, and I will explain that in a moment. We are moving now to the part of the presentation that provides a little bit of background on what VR and AR actually is, and how easy it is actually to push it or to use it into your own distribution environments. The slide that you look at on that Mark Zuckerberg used when he acquired Oculus for Facebook explains a little the multimedia evolution. Years ago, it started with text, then eventually photos were added, also to social media. Then it became others, and then the next level, virtual reality and augmented reality, which allows a complete different way of interacting with each other. Market opportunities. The VR AR world is probably one of the fastest growing consumer markets that is out there today. It's also, if you see the amount of investment that, as an example, Google puts into it, whether it's Project Daydream or whether it's Tango, and I think the numbers that you see speak for themselves. How it's distributed across the different age groups. As you can see, it's not only the younger generation here that is really into AR. They do it obviously because of gaming. But the older generation is also in, for the simple reason that a standard VR device that basically everybody has is based on a smartphone. A smartphone in combination with the different glasses that are out there, the simplest one being Google Cardboard, is already a pretty good VR device. In combination with that, there's obviously a pretty big hardware market out there as well. The different levels of virtual reality, so that you get an impression of basically how different solutions deliver a different experience. The simplest one is a 360 video where you are in the middle and you can look around and see everything that's around you while wearing the glasses. The second one is adding a third dimension to the 360-degree video, which has pretty good effects because you have two lenses, so you can trick the eye much better, or the senses much better than you can, as an example, in a cinema. The next level is to basically put 3D sound on top. Today, rock concerts, big rock concerts are typically recorded like that, where they place a VR camera in the middle, and they also have a multitude of microphones around. Basically, when you wear the goggles and the headset and you turn your head, you don't only see everything that's around you, it's also the sound changes to the different directions. The next part is gaming, and gaming where you can basically interact inside the game much more than you can, as an example, on a screen in front of you. Augmented reality is where you have the real world, meaning a video, and you basically overlay it with, as an technical information. You open, as an example, a switch box, and you look at the different plugs and switches in there. The drawings and instructions can be overlaid directly on what you're looking at, so that you basically know what to do. And the final and ultimate version is virtual interaction with each other in a multiplayer mode, where augmented reality, multiple interactions with each other all around the globe becomes possible. And this type of communication, or this type of exchange and multimedia action, actually in 5, 6, 7 years have the possibility to also become a competition to the good old TV. How accessible is VR to the consumer today. The simplest form of VR is the Google Cardboard, which you see on top. It's basically a folded box with two lenses inside, and with a projector in the front, simple smartphone with an app that basically then runs the VR content. If you order Google Cardboards in larger quantities, they can brand it as an example. They don't have to be plain like you see them here. They run in the vicinity of around $2.50. So it's a very affordable way of marketing. In addition, a very good giveaway this stage at stage. The next more expensive item is an example, the Samsung Gear VR, where you insert again a Samsung smartphone. These Gear VRs you sometimes get free if you buy a new Samsung phone. If you order it as an example through Amazon, they run anywhere between $20 to $100. Then there is two different VR devices, the Oculus Rift and the HTC Vive. They require a PC connected to them. It requires a PC with a high-end graphic card, because only then you will really get a real immersive experience without delays and good graphics. So the $600 and $800 that you see here is not the real investment, because the PC really needs to be a high-powered one. There's estimates out there that say that about 75% of consumer households in the Western Hemisphere and in Asia will have a device accessible to them by end of 2017. And the reason is simple, is that especially with Google Cardboard, the only other device that you need is a smartphone, and everybody has that already. Getting a little bit now into the EXP product line, actually, the first and most important part is how to produce content. And I'm showing the simplest form of producing content here. You have as an example a Samsung Gear 360 camera and a phone. The phone basically controls the camera through Bluetooth. Once you have captured the relevant videos or 360 images directly from the smartphone, you can upload the images that you have taken into the EXP360 control center. And during that upload process, all the necessary formats that are required are basically produced on the fly. So the web resolution, the VR resolution, the mobile device resolution, you can also add the relevant comments to it. So it's from basically taking the picture to having it available in the control center is just a matter of upload speed. And once you have it there, you can basically already start integrating it into your website. Our control center also provides exports the necessary JavaScript, which then allows you to place the VR hotspots throughout your website. And the control center also produces the QR code that's required to, as an example, that you can place VR on a billboard or in a brochure or any other type of printed material. The last thing that we have added now is that a contact center agent, as an example, or any type of salesperson can select VR content or VR videos from your company portfolio and create a personalized web page that can be sent via email link to a customer, so that when he's then sitting at home can already preview the VR stuff and eventually get connected back to the contact center through Oceana integration. So basically, we are touching every single point of a classic sales environment, whether it's the website on the lower left side, print media, brochures, and billboards, or also the face-to-face environment, as an example, in a travel agency or in a real estate agency, where I can control the glasses that I have there from a tablet and provide a guided tour to the customer. The face-to-face environment, this is one of our sales kits, where you have a tablet and two glasses inside, and where you basically then hand the glasses to a customer and you can control what they see and can guide them through the virtual world directly from the tablet. On the tablet itself, you can actually see what they are looking at. So if you look at the top right side of the slide here, you see the full 360 video at the bottom, and on the top you see the different windows that show the section of the actual video that person is looking at that moment. When the customer then leaves you, you can, as an example, give him a cardboard as a giveaway, and wherever he sees a QR code, he can scan it, which will then install an app on his mobile device. The apps are available for Android and iOS. The initial videos are basically being started automatically. You can also, if you do it through the website, the customer can create playlists that he can watch. And eventually, directly out of the VR session, he has the opportunity to start a call into the contact center, where then the contact center agent can actually see, just like on the tablet, on what video customer is watching, what part of the video is looking at, can point out things inside the video by actually placing an arrow in there, and he can start additional content, or can push out additional content customer. This is actually how it works. It's based on actual screenshots from the VR devices and from the Oceana desktop. On the left side here, you see the Oceana desktop. On the right side, you see the video that the customer is watching at the moment inside the VR device. He basically focuses on a little receiver or phone symbol that's shown in the video. The call is being set up. It's a WebRTC call in the background. And once the agent accepts the call, he can see on the bottom of his Oceana screen the video that customer is watching, and additional content elements that he can make available to the customer while talking to him. The mobile phone that's in the VR device is actually in hands-free mode at that moment. The agent can then go in and point out specific things. You see that on the top right side now, there's a little arrow that says, please look here. This is, as an example, the suite that you can book in my great Atlantis Dubai hotel. And by the way, I'm now taking you into the suite, and he pushes out now the information or the video about the suite, and can now again see exactly on what the customer is looking at through this little symbol here. So he can basically guide him through the entire sales process and hopefully close the deal at the end. What we have to do in order to actually make that happen, we basically are using various SDKs of Oceana and Breeze. We use the WebRTC client that's available to basically set up the voice calls. The initial effort to set up the POC, we spent a couple of days in Ireland to basically have direct interaction with the developers, and then really to have the POC up and running took another 10 days in Berlin to basically clean it all up and then publish the app in the App Store. Since then, we have done a lot of development, also supporting the new releases of Oceana and Breeze. And I think yesterday, the latest version of the app was posted in the Play Store, in the Google Play Store. So it's now also available for the latest Oceana demo environments. last but not least, if you want to get in touch with us, here is the information. And since we will become, or probably already is, the next multimedia interaction channel between people, I think it's an opportunity not to be missed.
Thomas, thank you very much. This was a very impressive overview on how we can embed virtual reality into customer services environments. And in order to give you a little bit more insight on how this might look, we have prepared a nice video for you. So the video was prepared by EXP360, and we embedded some Avaya elements into it. You can scan the QR code here on immediately from within that session, or you can use the link that we have posted already in the chat window, or when we distribute the presentation, you will have access to all of these resources. So basically, what this video is showing, it's giving an overview of a customer journey with virtual reality enhancement. And there's another one which we have captured during the Dubai Engage event in December last year, where we had Maxim Lukashuk, one of our colleagues here, experiencing the EXP360 VR experience on Oceana. And it's really good seeing how Maxim's immediate reaction was to this. And this is an overwhelming reaction that we see wherever we demo this to customers. So this probably is something quite interesting for you to think about in your customer conversations. And with that, handing back to Andrew for closing the session.
Yeah, thank you, Markus, and thank you to Rasheed and Thomas from EXP360. I had the opportunity last week to visit their headquarters in Berlin, and I also had that wow effect when I got to see some of the things they're doing and what's possible there. So it's certainly interesting to look into, and perhaps for some of your customers, it could be actually relevant to start discussing that. This session is the second of 3 next week, same time, same place. If you've been registered here, it'll be the same location. We're going to talk about the Internet of Things and artificial intelligence in Breeze, and I hope to bring you a couple of interesting use cases that you might not have seen so far, and to give you some additional ideas of where the Avaya Breeze platform might take us here. Thank you for your time here today. Information, the presentation and all will be distributed afterwards, things like that. It has been recorded, and will be shared with everyone as well. Thank you, and have a great work week.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Rasheed. Thank you, Andrew. And looking forward to seeing everyone on the third and last session next Monday.